Hey, I'm Jay from Two Wheel View at the GAP program. And today we're going to talk about Wheels 101, how to fix a leak. So when you open the patch, it will normally come with glue, patches, and sandpaper. It will also come with instructions in case you needed to know or couldn't remember at the moment. There are two different types of valves that go with the tube. There is a straighter and a pressa. Each one has a different attachment when using the pump. Today we're going to be using the straighter. This is the PSI that we're going to be using to pump up the tire to check if it has a leak. Of course, we want to go just 5 under the maximum. And if it does have a leak, this is just a short-term fix. Eventually you do want a new bike. Okay, ready? Alright, I'm going to be pumping this up to 50 PSI. And then I'm going to check to see if it's leaking. I'm checking right now to see if it's a leak. Of course, you want to give it a little longer, and we're going to. I'm going to take out the air on this tire because I think there is a hole. So you're going to take the part of the tire wrench, or I forgot the exact name of it, the tire lever, and we're going to press inside the valve, removing as much air from the tube. So when removing the tire, you want to use this end of the tire lever. You want to get it in there and try to run it down. Of course, as you can tell. I'm going to put this one here to hold and try to use another one if it doesn't always work for you. So basically, going all the way around the tire until it comes off. Of course, don't be as aggressive as I was. There you go. Oh. Right. What you're going to do is you're going to pump up this to at least have some air, so we can check where the hole is, or the leak. I'm going to put on the pump. Pump up probably about that much. So like we said, we're going to check for a hole, because we now know it does have one. So we're going to feel, you know, until you feel possibly some air. When you find the hole, which we have right here, you're going to take a Sharpie and basically try to remember where it is. So now that we found the hole, we're going to decrease the air, not the hair, the air. We're going to decrease it as much as possible. Doesn't have to be fully, just enough. This is probably enough. Now we're trying to find this hole again. Right about there. We're going to take some sandpaper and sand out bigger than you would need. Bigger than the sticker we're going to be using, or the patch, as you know it. And make sure that you can get glue on this, so sand it pretty well. Like I would say that's well enough. Then you're going to take your glue, which is this, and you're going to lightly press it, just lightly. You don't want too much because it will take too long to dry. Oh, that's a cut. Okay. So as you saw, we did too much. If you can see it, it's way too much. So we're gonna take a bit off by rubbing it off, but we're also gonna spread what we have a little more. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait until it turns into a glossy-ish black. Now that it's dry, you can feel it's tacky, but also like glossy. So now we're gonna take the patch from the thing. We're gonna press it on as tight as possible, because if it doesn't patch, then you can't eat the Sour Patches. And making sure to press, and there we go. Now that we have put on the patch and it's on properly, we're now going to inflate the tire so we can put it back on. And we don't want to do too much, because it still needs to be able to get onto the rim. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the tube back into the tire. As you can tell, not proper the greatest, but you know. We got this without making any new holes, because if that happens, that's a whole lot of issues. So now that we basically got that in, this might be the wrong size of tube if I'm being honest, but that's also a thing you should check is the size of your tube to ratio. As you can tell, there's a spot where the valve will fit once you get the tube onto the tire and you get that onto the rim. Now we're going to use the opposite side of the tool we used earlier to get it off, but to get it on, and you want to do the furthest side from the valve. Of course, I'm doing a different way. As you can tell, I'm just using my hands, but of course, normally you want to use this and kind of like push it in, under, push, and it gets harder the closer you get to the valve. Of course, being careful as you go, and there you go. Now we're going to pump it back up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pump this up to at least 5 under the maximum PSI, which is 55, so we're going to do 50.
A little hint for you, for all of you doing this at home, when pumping up your tire, make sure it's on the ground and your feet holding it down, just to make sure it doesn't fly around, for your own safety and for your bikes.
Now if you check, there are no holes. So this has been our tire fixing 101 with Jay at two-wheel gap program. Before I wheel away, I just have to make that joke.
That's a really bad joke.